Shalom Aleichem. Chaim Alevsky here. Chabad Family Programs of the West Side. This running commentary is dedicated to the 45 families who suffered unspeakable tragedy on Lag BaOmer. So, just in their memory, this Torah teaching should bring an elevation to their souls and some comfort to the families, and hopefully this will be the final straw of suffering that the Jewish people have to go through. So, talking about Lag BaOmer, I'm going to zoom through a beautiful talk from Rabbi Yosef Jacobson, the yeshiva.net. More details there, but here's the points. On Lag BaOmer, it's customary all around the world for Jewish kids to go out and play, go out into the fields and play with bows and arrows. Many reasons have been given for it, but one of them is that the Talmud tells us that the Zohar says, that during Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai's life, there was never a rainbow in the sky. The beautiful rainbow wasn't there. And the question is why? And the Zohar also says, don't expect Mashiach to come until you see a magnificent rainbow illuminating the sky. Why? What is the rainbow all about? Beautiful thought. To understand it, we go a little bit earlier to another kind of rainbow. In Hebrew, the word rainbow is keshes, or for the Israelis, keshet. Keshet means bow. It's an arch. Now, there are two kinds of bows, even in Hebrew, both in Hebrew and in English. We use the same word, interestingly, for the bow. There's a keshet, which is the rainbow in the sky, and there's also the archer's bow, which in Hebrew is also keshet, the bow and arrow. The Alter Rebbe talks about this in a beautiful way. He explains, he says that our forefather Yaakov Avinu, when he's telling his children about him conquering Shechem, the city of Shechem, he said, I conquered Shechem becharbi ubekashti, with my sword and with my bow and arrow. The Alter Rebbe says, there are different commentators, what does that mean? Technically it's a sword and a bow, but also figuratively it was with his prayers and supplications to God. But the Alter Rebbe takes it deeper in the classic Hasidic mystical way and says everything in this world, everything in the physical world has its spiritual counterpart, its parallel, and its actual root, its source in the spirit. And he said that the sword and the bow are weapons. They're both weapons of combat. The sword is used, what's the difference between them? The sword is used for close combat, for an enemy that you see, that is evident, that is right near you, and you can handle them. That's the sword. The bow is for a distant enemy. The bow and arrow is for an enemy, or prey to, but an enemy that is far hidden, not so close up. And the Alter Rebbe says that there's two ways, there are two enemies in our own lives. There's the enemies that are apparent, like in our personal lives, not in the world around us, but in our personal service to God. There are enemies that are apparent, like our character traits, like being angry, being haughty, stealing, killing, anything else you want to throw in there. And then there are more subtle enemies that are hidden, that we can't necessarily see. Like somebody's doing something that might even be good, but what's his motivation? What's her motivation? something deep and hidden that we don't necessarily realize is our enemy. So the Alter Rebbe says there's two weapons that we need. We need a sword and we need a bow. And what is the bow? What is the engineering of a bow and arrow? Is that there's this strong rope, the string that you pull, and the deeper you pull it inside towards yourself, the further out it's going to unleash and reach. So too says the Alter Rebbe, in our battling our inner enemies, there's the hand-to-hand combat for the evident enemies, and then there's the deeper enemies that need a bow and arrow. We need to go deep within ourselves to be able to reach and to refine ourselves, to uplift ourselves, and to reach the deep darkness that's inside hidden, to be able to unleash that power and refine it. There's, in the Torah itself, there's a parallel. We have two parts of the Torah in general categories. We have the revealed, the nigla, the revealed part of the Torah, which is the halacha, the Talmud, all the laws between man to man, all the laws between man to God, the civil laws, business laws, family laws, between man to man. And then there's laws between man and God, which is everything else, the holidays, kosher, Shabbos, tefillin, mezuzah, etc., etc. That's in the revealed aspects of the Torah. That's the Talmud, the halacha. And then there's the hidden aspects of the Torah. There's the mystical world, the Kabbalah. And today we learn Kabbalah through Hasidus. So Hasidus and Kabbalah here are synonymous. And that is the hidden, the soul of the Torah. And that's the light within the Torah. That's these two, that reveals the inner dimension, the spirit of what's going on in the Torah and in the world. So these two kinds of Torah are synonymous, types of the Torah, categories in Torah, are synonymous also with the bow, with a sword and the bow and arrow. The nigla, the revealed Torah, is synonymous with the knife, with the sword. It's apparent. It's everything that's apparent that we obviously need to be kind and respectful to each other. And we obviously, there's a call coming in, just go away. We obviously need to be kind and respectful to each other. We need to be civil with each other. We need to parent properly and do business honestly and not steal and kill. That's apparent. That's the revealed aspect of the Torah, halacha. And then there's the deeper understanding of the Torah, the light within of the why, the spirit of the world. It says, and that's the bow, where you pull deep and search for meaning of the things and see the depth of the meaning. Further on, we go on to the rainbow. What is the rainbow itself? We have a clear, beautiful sky today. No rainbow in New York City. But what is the meaning of the rainbow? How does the rainbow happen? The rainbow is the sun's rays, the beautiful rays of the sun that are welcoming, warm and welcoming, that are passing through droplets of water or of moisture suspended in the sky, in the clouds. And they create a beautiful, displaying a spectrum of many colors in an arc across the sky. Almost verbatim from Rabbi Jacobson. So a rainbow is a beautiful display of light and color. But where does it come from? A rainbow comes from a situation where we know the sun is shining and it's beautiful and warm and welcoming, but then there come clouds. Clouds obstruct the sun's light. They block the sun, representing darkness. So there's darkness and it's blocking the sun. From that darkness itself, the darkness itself turns into a rainbow. the rainbow, which is a much more magnificent display of colors and beauty and light, even than the sun is for our eyes in some way. The rainbow comes from the darkness itself, from the clouds itself. From the darkness comes the light. The darkness, the clouds become a vehicle, a conduit for the light. So too, says Hasidus, Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, the great sage who passed away on Lag BaOmer, the author of the Zohar, of Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai. He brought the Kabbalah, and now we learn it through the Hasidic teachings. He brought it to the world. Now, what is the Kabbalah? What are the Hasidic teachings? They're a perspective, among other things, but mainly it's a perspective that within everything in nature, past, present, and future, there's a spark of God, and we need to reveal that light, even if it's dark, even if it's a cloud that seems to be obstructing the sun's light. But from there comes a rainbow. If we have the proper perspective and the proper teachings, we see the rainbow from the darkness. We see the beauty in the darkness and from the darkness. Not that we should have darkness. We're not looking for trouble. But the reality is that everything comes from God. And the Kabbalah and the Hasidus gives us a perspective, teaches us to see the beauty in everything, to see the soul, the spark, the spirit, the underlying theme of everything. And that's also the reason why there was no rainbow in the sky during Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai's life, because he brought this teaching. He brought the rainbow in person. He was the rainbow. Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai was the rainbow. He was a model of this understanding that everything in this world has a spirit and a soul, and we just need to dig a little deep. And that's a connection between the two rainbows, the rainbow in the sky and the archer's bow, where you need to pull back and dig deep. And the deeper you dig, the more you uncover the dirt, the darkness within. Well, the deeper we go and uncover that darkness, the further we can unleash the bow, and the arrow will reach a lot further. And to wrap this up, how do you say circle in Hebrew? Circle in Hebrew is galgal. Gimble lamed, gimble lamed. The galgal is circle. Gal, take half of the word galgal. It's gal. Just gal. Gimble lamed. Reverse the two letters. It's lag. Lamed gimel. That's Lag BaOmer. We celebrate Lag BaOmer on the 33rd day of the Omer. We're celebrating the rainbow, both rainbows. We're celebrating the inner light of the Torah and the ability to dig deep, find darkness, and transform it, reach it, and elevate it. And it's related to a pasuk in the Torah, Gal einai, ve'abita niflaot mitoratecha. Reveal, open up my eyes. The word gal also means to reveal, to open up. We ask God, open up my eyes and reveal the wonders of your Torah. That is the Torah of Hasidus, of the Kabbalah, that was revealed on Lag BaOmer through Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai. That's it for today. In the Neshama of the 45 deceased, have an aliyah, be elevated, and may this Torah teaching bring an elevation to their souls and comfort to their families, and may we know no more sorrow. God bless you.